when we look at these two teams here, Oklahoma is the team that's really moving the ball through the air. They are passing yards per game right now, averaging 316 passing yards per game. Auburn at 174. Rush yards per game in favor of Auburn, 242 to Oklahoma's 156. And in points per game, Auburn slightly ahead at 37 to Oklahoma's 34. When you look at the other side of the ball, total yards per game for passing allowed, Auburn has struggled to stop teams from moving the ball through the air. 220 yards they're giving up per game to Oklahoma's only 85, which is crazy. Rush yards per game, Oklahoma's only surrendering 96, so they're only giving up 181 total yards per game right now. Auburn doing great on the defensive side as far as run stopping, only 67 yards per game surrendered so far, and Oklahoma only giving up an average of 6 points per game, just south of a touchdown, and Auburn only surrendering 2 touchdowns per game at 14 points. So two defenses that really, I think, are going to be the stars of the show here, whoever's defense shows up. But how is it from your perspective? Let's talk about offense first, and let's talk about that quarterback in John Mateer.
Yeah, I would say the first thing with John Mateer is just dude's he's just a playmaker. I love, there's been several people throughout national media, everything else, that keep saying he's a football player and then he's a quarterback. And I think you'll see that on Saturday. He's very capable of making throws. I think the thing that has stood out to me about him, though, that I like a lot is he is an anticipation thrower. If you really watch his film close, you will see a guy making a break and the ball's literally either just about to leave his hand or it's already out of his hand. So he sees the field, sees the coverage really, really, really well. If somehow, some way OU's offensive line is able to hold up, you would hope that that's, that pass offense that's been electric kind of takes advantage of a pass defense that struggled a little bit on the Auburn side.
Yeah, I mean, to second what Daryl says, I mean, Mateer has definitely shown that ability to throw guys open and get those guys really coming out of their breaks. And that's really been the key to his big success. He's thrown into he hasn't really had to throw into any tight gaps, but he's been able to throw into some, like I said, throw those guys open. He does have a little bit, one of our hesitancies is a little bit of his deep ball. Like he doesn't have that float ball that you like to see where somebody can run up under it. He's missed probably 2 or 3 of those this season. So that's probably a little bit of something that he's going to have to show in this game. Because I think against Auburn, you're really going to have to try to stretch the field a little bit and try to get, make a big play here or there. And if he can't make those throws, then that could lead for a long day for OU.
Yeah, I mean, listen, from when I looked at the film, and admittedly, Michigan was the only film that I looked at that felt like it made any sense to take a look at the Power 4 contest. Yeah. He made some nice throws into some windows there, but to your point, some of the stuff that was contested throws, he was throwing it on a line, which allowed the DBs to undercut those routes a little bit, and got him in trouble a couple of times there. And then he overthrew the one seam route that he had to the tight end there that resulted in the turnover. I looked here at the injury report, and since Wednesday when I had this conversation with Jay, it's gotten a little better, but it does look as if there's some guys dinged up along the offensive front for Oklahoma. How are you feeling about what you're seeing from the injury report? Is it encouraging? Is it one of those, guys are going to play and they're going to have to tough it out? Or is it, I don't know, these guys might not be 100% in this game?
All right. So on our podcast, my nickname is Dark Daryl. So you're about to get the full part of that. It's freaking terrifying. And here's why. The backup center, who was our starting center last year when we really started to get things rolling, he actually got passed up. So in a way that was a good, because your backup's a guy who can play in the SEC, right? But you got a guy that's outplayed him early on, taking his job. Well, he just had a season-ending injury. That's why he is off that list completely. So our backup center gone. Our starting center now is listed as probable, I believe, or questionable, but he's dinged up pretty bad. What's the name on the other center? Jake Michaela.
He is listed as probable.
Yeah, but he's touch and go. I mean, I know he's listed as that, but everybody you talk to, he got rolled up on both sides, both angles last week. They were playing him deep in the game because your backup was gone. And then your third, who is a freshman, true freshman, you're not going to want to play, and he's dinged up as well. So that position right there is the terrifying part. And then you have Fabechi Wiwu, who is also on that list. He last week was supposed to be our backup center if in emergency break glass and you need another center. So both those guys are hurt. And as we all know, the center's the one who makes the call. They're the ones who get everybody set up. So we are in a real tough position there. And like, for me, it's terrifying. If the line's healthy, I feel not like confident going into the game, but I would say at home, I give Oklahoma an edge. With all these injuries, I have no idea what's going to happen because it's pretty banged up there for me. So I don't know how Jared will feel though.
Are you joyful Jared as opposed to dark Daryl?
Yeah. Well, Daryl's been clamoring for Coach Beatonbow, the offensive line coach, to get fired for about, I don't know, a decade, I think. I don't know.
3 years. Let's go. Come on.
Yeah, I would say I've got a little bit more hope, but the downside is I think there's going to be some guys that they're going to play. I think there's a little gamesmanship going on. You're getting the SEC, so you're going to see a lot more of that gamesmanship. However, I think even with that, if some guys play like, that are probable or doubtful or questionable, those sorts of things, I don't think they're going to be 100%. And I think Auburn's defensive line is watching some of their games. Those guys can eat. I know that they haven't played a completely stellar opponent either, but they know how to eat. So if the offensive line can't, at some of those guys at 80%, if they're just going to get knocked on their back, it's going to be a long day for John Mateer. He's been able to wiggle out of some stuff, but I'm afraid those Auburn guys get a hold of him, and he's not going to be able to wiggle out as easily as he was even against Michigan. So I think that there's going to be – I think that's a huge key to the game is, I mean, I know this is something you say about every game, but the trenches is going to be a massive, massive part of this game.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, listen, I think that the game will be won and lost in the trenches for sure. Yep. And, whoever's lines of scrimmage can dominate are really what's going to tell the tale of this. When you look at guys on the outside, though, for Oklahoma, who are the guys that are going to be the big play receivers? Of course, Burks didn't play in the game last year, I don't believe, when Auburn played Oklahoma. So you didn't really get an opportunity, if you're an Auburn fan, to see him and all the dynamic things he brings to that offense. Isaiah Satania, you did see him in an Arkansas uniform last year, but now he's playing for Oklahoma. And I do know that Kanick has been a big weapon for him at the tight end. But, am I missing somebody, or is it really just going to be those three guys that are going to be the major ones?
I'd say the other guy to watch is Keontez Lewis. Now, the question is, he's on that injury report as well. He took a pretty good shot last week, so he's been in protocol. But BV said on his coach's show this week that they feel confident that there's a chance he could really play. But he's kind of been the real go-to guy, like on that 3rd and 7 situation. He's been that possession guy, big-bodied guy, experienced guy, really makes those plays across the middle, tough catches, has hands that – I mean, he really can catch the ball no matter if somebody's draped on him or not. And so that's been a big key. The other guy that only played a couple plays last week, but I know that they were really, really high on coming in the season, was Zion Kearney. And so keep an eye on this guy, big bodied, looks really, really filled out, can run pretty well. Had a big explosive play in the bowl game last year. Arbuckle's press conference this year said if you go back to the bowl game and him coming back finally healthy last week for the first time, 3 catches, 3 explosives. Dude, like he said, I looked at him and go, bro, 3 catches, 3. Like, what are you worried? Like, you got it all. You should be riding high and come in this game and make plays. So I think that's one other guy to keep your eye on for sure in the game.
Yeah, I mean, Daryl just kind of nailed him. Lewis is, I definitely think, a guy that I think after the game last week, just coming out of the game, I was like, well, there's no chance he's playing against Auburn because, I mean, it looked like he got almost knocked out.
Yeah.
But like you said, BV sounds like he's going to be able to play. So we'll see, but he's really been that guy that's been kind of clutch. Like OU's had a very good track record of getting those guys that are just playmakers when you really need them. We had Drake Stoops. We've had other guys that have just come in and where it's like you're 3rd and long, that guy's going to come down with the ball. You just kind of throw up and let him get it. But another guy that I think people are sleeping on just a little bit, even though there is a little bit of hype building around him, is Kanick, the tight end. You kind of highlighted him. And people forget that he's an athlete. I mean, he was a linebacker, transitioned to tight end. I think he still holds like one of the state records in Kansas for the 100-meter dash.
Yep. 10.39 in high school in the 100 meters.
Yeah, and so he's filled out a little bit since then, but the dude can still move, especially for a tight end. And I would definitely say, going back and watching some of OU's games, there's been plays where he's kind of breaking open and Mateer either had already gotten rid of the ball or just doesn't see him or is having to scramble. If he can get those open looks a little bit more, then I think you could see him even make some big plays. I think he's really kind of undershined more than he could have if he gets hit on some of those balls.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. And lastly, when we're talking about the offense, let's talk about this backfield. Of course, Auburn fans familiar with the Cal transfer over there at running back, but he hasn't really been the guy for Oklahoma in the backfield. Outside of John Mateer, it has not been a lot of him as the running back. Who should Auburn fans be looking for as kind of the closer for them? Because that's really what the run game has been for Oklahoma in these games is they're closing out games, turning around, handing the ball off, or having John Mateer run.
Yeah. Go ahead, Jared.
I mean, I think Blaylock is the guy. I mean, he's definitely looks like the best running back right now. He's even had those plays where he's got hands on him in the backfield and he still finds a way to get, I mean, I've seen him get hands on the backfield and still get 6-7 yards out of the play. Barnes has definitely looked shaky through his career. He's been that guy that's kind of had a tendency to not really read the gap very well and just kind of runs into the pile. But he's looked a little bit better. So you're going to really have to lean on those two. I think Barnes definitely gives you a lot especially also in just like the pass blocking to being able to get back there and assist in that a little bit. But I mean, Blaylock is the guy. If you're an Auburn fan and you haven't got to watch the OU games, he's a freshman. Circle him because he has looked really, really good so far. I'd say he looks like the best running back on OU's roster right now.
Yeah. And I'd echo that. And again, another guy with crazy speed in Blaylock. So Blaylock's 4x1 team in high school set the national record for the 4x1. So he can flat go. But if you really watch the games, yes, the O-line has not been great in their run schemes. They haven't done a good job of executing there. But you can also see, especially game one, they really gave the ball to Barnes a ton. And he just was not seeing it, just constantly running. And you could pause the tape and see a hole to the left, a hole to the right. And he just would not make the cut anyway. While Blaylock didn't get a lot of carries the first game, I believe he averaged almost 6 yards a carry. This last week, he averaged almost 7 yards a carry. So now that they're starting to lean on him, I think you finally have somebody to run the ball consistently and make something out of it. Barnes has traditionally kind of been, if there's 3 yards there, he might get it. He might not, but that's as far as it's going to go. Blaylock's shown already. Case in point against Michigan, great play. They throw a little swing pass over to him in the flat. 2 guys converging on him. You go, well, this is a loss. He puts a foot in the ground, splits them just in a shot and turns it into a 6-yard gain. And it's like, we haven't seen that in 2 seasons. And so it was great. And then the other guy to keep an eye on that I'm super high on, that he's finally healthy and been getting back in the mix, Xavier Robinson, true sophomore, about 6'2", 236, coming out of the backfield, but has great feet and good vision. He's not going to break an 80-yarder on you, but he's definitely going to make you feel him when he comes through there. And I think they could easily utilize him. As far as Jaden Ott goes, there's just all kinds of rumor mill right now in Norman of what's going. We don't know if he's homesick. We don't know if he's struggling to pick up the offense. If he's struggling with another injury like he had last year and he's just very tentative and very scared to kind of just go on it and let it go because he had that nagging injury last year. Nobody really knows what's going on there. If he will choose to get after it, I think he can be a weapon. But so far, it just seems like something's just not really clicked since he's been in Norman.
Interesting stuff there with Jaden Ott. All right, let's flip it over to the other side of the football and talk a little bit about this vaunted Oklahoma defense, right? A lot of great talent in the trenches up there. You listen to, I listen to a lot in the morning. What's the guy's name? He's a former Oklahoma guy. Dusty Javorchik.
Oh yeah. Oh, Dusty. Yeah. He's loving it right now.
Dusty he can't stop glowing over John Mateer and this Oklahoma defensive line. Talk to me about the playmakers over there on the defensive side for Oklahoma.
Yeah, I mean, there's some clear picks. Well, obviously to talk about our Mason Thomas is a guy that I think a lot of people have picked up if you watch any kind of college football, but he's out for the first half.
Right.
So that's a little bit of a hit, but you have some guys on the interior. David Stone and Jaden Jackson are two guys that I would circle. David Stone was a 5-star last year. He came in as a freshman, had some flashes when they got to play him, but very raw. This year, he looks like he's kind of starting to put that together and get his technique down. And there was, even against Michigan, when you're going up against a little bit stiffer opponent, was really able to push some guys back. But Jaden Jackson is a guy that came in as a true freshman, and he looked like a senior. I mean, he's a guy that I think we recruited him, and when he committed, he was maybe a 3-star and kind of jumped to a 4-star. But that guy plays like a 5-star. He can create some havoc, and I think you'll see, especially Auburn. I think everybody, you'll see some guys trying to double team him because he's just a force to be reckoned with. Those are the two guys I think, especially on that interior, that I would circle if you're an Auburn fan.
Okay. Yeah. Daryl, talk to me about the next two levels. I don't want to have to repeat what he just said about that, unless you got a different name to throw out there. Let's talk about linebacker DVs.
Yeah, I mean, I would just say on the edges, just the depth. I mean, that's the thing on the line. They go on the D tackle spot. They go 2.5 deep, and on the edges, they're easily 2 deep to 2.5 deep, and you don't lose a ton there. On the back end, as far as if you're going to play the run game, keep an eye on number 11, Kobe McKenzie. Anything he hits goes backwards. It does not go the other way. He is a hammer, and when it comes to run game, especially, his instincts are incredible. He's Teddy Lehman, former Butkus Award winner, 2-time All-American, all the different things. He says all the time, as he's up there in the room and stuff, that he's the smartest guy on the entire defense. So he really gets them going, gets them ready. Kip Lewis is just a firecracker, a little bit undersized, but is everywhere. Will really plug in there and get to playing. I imagine we'll play a lot of Kendall Daniels is another name to watch. He kind of plays a nickel position for us. Brent Venables' defense, they call it the cheetah. It's like this mix of nickel / linebacker. So you never know if he's really playing a 4-3 or a 3-3-5. Depending on what his role is, kind of just changes all of that. But this guy's 6'5", 240, and has played safety in college while he was at Oklahoma State. So really rangy, really good. On the back end, my favorite guy is RSJ, Robert Spears Jennings, number 3. Dude is like 210, can run like the wind, is super smart, got great ball skills. He is fun to watch. And then on the edge, we'll see what happens. Gentry Williams is our guy that I think if he can stay healthy, he's a first-round pick at corner. He's about 6'2". He was on track to be a 400-meter Olympian out of high school and chose football instead. So he can really run, but he has filled out his body, plays physical. Again, a lot of depth there. You got Kendall Dolby just came back. Eli Bowen will not play this game, so he won't be there. But you've got Jacoby Johnson. You've got Devin Jordan. You just got a lot of names at corner that can really, really play and really, really go. And obviously the true freshman, Corton Guillory, has led the way this year. Now, I have no doubt y'all are going to put Coleman after him and see if he really holds up. And he obviously has not had a huge test yet. But I mean, going against Michigan, who had some dudes they brought in and that they really believed in, 9 targets, 9 incompletions on his side. And I don't care what team you're playing. That's a great day. And especially when you're a true freshman, kid can really, really play.
Well, that's the question that I have really is, I mean, I watched that game and I've watched a lot of different types of film on it. You know, Michigan didn't seem to really have the pass game together, right? Like they were committed to trying to run the football. They were running out of a heavy package a lot, you know, a lot of 12, a lot of 13 personnel sometime. And they were like, we're just going to line up and we're going to run it. They basically were like full house backfield. I mean, it was old school down. Yeah. Has Oklahoma been challenged yet in the pass game?
Well, no, but here's the deal. It's because of the D line. And if you really go watch the Michigan game closely, any just true drop back passing scenario for Bryce Young, Jaden Jackson has one play in particular where at the snap of the ball, the center's off his feet and laying in Bryce Underwood's lap. And so now everything's off schedule and messed up. And I think for Michigan, they knew they had a line that's not as good as they've had in the past. and they're better run blockers than they are pass blockers. So every time they were trying to drop back, their only option was to try to roll out and pray that somebody didn't come up, but they were playing so aggressively. Even then he had guys in his face a lot, giving him trouble. Now, week 1 and week 3, no. I mean, we haven't been challenged overly. Now, lots of movement. The thing that OU's always struggled with is teams like Temple that we played last week, shifting a whole set over here, moving this guy in motion here, moving and the eyes of the safeties and corners last year would get off a lot, opening up the back end and letting things streak down. We haven't seen that once this year. Nobody's just sprung just free. The closest thing you had is in the Michigan game where Bryce looked like he's running. And honestly, on replay, he's a toe away from crossing the line of scrimmage, and he busts him over the top for that. Outside of that, there's somebody in a hip pocket everywhere. And you see that in the box score. And I'm sorry I'm rambling, but we were talking about this on our pod the other night after we got off with you. Every week, look at the box score on the defense. 4 tackle, 4 tackle, 4 tackle, 3 tackle, 3 tackle, 3 tackle, 2 tackle. I mean, there's no 10 tackle guy because this team is completely locked into, we all have a job. If everybody does the job, then we take care of our space. And so nobody's overplaying something to cover something up like you see in a lot of defenses. And that's what's led to some beautiful football early on.
Yeah. And I think, the other part of that is that, I think some teams have tried. Obviously, Illinois State and Temple are what they are, but the defensive line, again, just to kind of echo him a little bit, is just the defensive line's been able to get in that backfield so fast that you don't have the time to let a play develop. And that's what OU's really going to hang their hat on. Because, if you watch the film, there is a couple of times where there's a guy open and they just can't it's making it an extremely difficult throw, or he's got a guy in his face, so he can't complete it. So, they're really going to have to lean on the defensive line. But I do think, like you said, Cortland Guillory has looked phenomenal. So, and he's been on the social media already talking smack to Jackson Arnold. So he's going to have to try to back it up on Saturday. But I do think that this is going to be by far their toughest test of the season.
Oh, yeah.
I had not seen that, but I absolutely will go check that out immediately and make sure that I hit myself to all of the trash talk that's happening. Yeah. All right. Well, we are in here with the guys from the Just Okay podcast. Appreciate you guys for jumping in here. We're going to get over into this Facts or Nah, so make sure that you guys are dropping that. We are here, Auburn Express, powered by the War Rapport, doing a little Facts or Nah. As always, this is brought to you by the good folks over at Rogue Shop. Make sure that you hit them up, rogueshop.com. Use code RAPPORT when you do. America's #1 online dispensary, whether it's sleep, stress, pain, or anxiety relief. The Rogue Shop may have a remedy there for you. All right, guys, are you ready for Facts or Nah? Because this is, we got to keep it 100% here, right? Like we got to do what we got to do here. Let's see what we got from our chat. We'll get it kicked off with Chase Patterson, who says, Facts or Nah, Auburn has 200 rushing yards against this good run defense. Ooh, that's a lot of rushing yards to expect. I'm Daryl, since you are the doomsday bringer, I'm going to we'll see how you feel about this one. 200 yards, Facts or Nah?
Nah. That's one thing that they have definitely hung their hat on hardcore last year too. They were one of the best run defenses in the country. Their weakness was pass defense. This year, so far, it's both. Granted, not tested, but we're not getting to 200. I still think the run game will be effective at times, but not 200 yards.
Jared, how you feeling?
I'm going to go nah. I think that it's, one thing that confused me when I watched the Baylor-Auburn game was they kind of let Jackson Arnold run free. I was confused as to why they weren't spying him at certain points in that game. And he just kind of ran all over him. I don't think Brent Venables is going to let that happen. And I just think that this defensive line's you're not going to see big holes for people to run through. And the linebackers have been super, super smart and secure. So I think 200, I think, is a stretch. I think they'll have some success, but 200, I don't think we'll get quite there.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go nah on this one as well, guys. I'm sorry. I just feel as if they're going to challenge and try to make Auburn a throwing team in this game and see what they can do through the air. Maybe some extended handoffs, i.e. screen game, quick game type stuff. But I just don't see, turn over your left shoulder, hand the ball off, or, zone read keep for Jackson Arnold accumulating 200 yards against this defense, because they got guys that can run, right? Like, so even if it's, a gain, they're going to be able to limit the long gains. And I don't know that Auburn's going to have the kind of box count that's going to make you want to run the football a lot. Into that, I'll go nah with those as well. All right, see what else we got here. Next up, 9-time champion says, facts or not, Eric Singleton Jr. and Cam Coleman combine for 130 plus receiving yards. We'll start with you this time, Jared. How are you feeling about the combination of Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton getting to 130 receiving yards?
You know what? I'm going to go facts.
Okay.
I think, like you said, I think Brent's going to try to make this game, or make Auburn like a more one-dimensional team. And those guys are good. They are some of the best receivers in the country. If Jackson Arnold can hook up with them, I think 130 combined is very doable. I don't think that there's going to be, I don't think it's going to be a 400-yard passing yard for Jackson Arnold, but I think those two guys are going to get a lot of looks.
Okay. How you feeling about it, Daryl?
Gosh, this is terrible. Me and my brother usually fight all the time. I'm going to go facts as well. I do think early on the box is going to be stacked. And look, both of those guys, if it's one-on-one, they make a guy miss, I could easily see them getting 60 yards on one play somewhere in the game until they earn that right. And then things will kind of maybe trickle back, but over and throughout the game. Obviously, like you said, y'all love to do the little speed sweep, which technically is a pass. That goes for 10, 20 somewhere in there. So, yeah, I think facts that they'll get to 130 in this game.
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I'm going to go facts with you guys on this one. I don't even think 130 is a stretch to be able to get those two guys involved. That's 70 yards apiece, and you've broken 130 for those. And I can see, to your point, 30 or 40 off of just one reception. And then, you're going to get the ball. Singleton, he was rumored, or he's listed as probable right now. He's gonna be out there, and he's gonna go, and he'll take one of those little pop passes, and he'll get 9 to 10 yards off of that. He'll do that 2 or 3 times to get you close to 30 right there, and then you get a couple more passes down the field to him. He'll get to 80, 90 yards off of about 7 or 8 touches, and then Cam Coleman maybe 2 or 3 more. Right, so I can see 130 definitely being a mix in there for the passing yards. Give me the facts on that one. Let's see. Facts or not, Connor Gibbs kicks 2 or more field goals. Now, this one, I think I'm going to have to field by myself because you guys aren't adept. Connor Gibbs is the long field goal kicker for Auburn.
I got you.
And so will he kick 2 or more field goals? I'm actually going to go with nah on this one. I don't think long field goals are going to get it done for Auburn in this game. I think, if he makes one long one, maybe they'll get confidence to be able to kick another one for him. So maybe I would take the push on that one at 2, being the number that you would have to get out of that. But I think the field goal range that Auburn would be more safe in and likely reside in is going to be something more in the range where Alex McPherson's going to be the guy doing it. So it's going to be anything within 40 yards. I can see that happening for Auburn, getting multiple field goals in that way. So give me nah on Gibbs needing to come in and kick 45 plus yard field goals for this game. So give me nah on that one. Let's see. Chase Patterson says, facts or not, Jackson Arnold throws for 3 touchdowns and runs for 1. 4 touchdowns on the day for Jackson Arnold, 3 through the air and 1 on the ground. Look, I am going to start this off, and I'm going to go nah on this. Just because I think the success for Auburn will not necessarily be in the pass game in that way. I think the pass game gets you close and the run game gets you home. So if you ask me for a multiple touchdown game for Jackson Arnold running, I'd be a little more likely for that. I don't know if he's going to be 3 of them, but I do think that he will have a multiple touchdown game in this one, just because of where I think the score is going to be and the way in which I think Auburn's going to need to score in this. But I'll take nah on a 4 touchdown game for Jackson Arnold. Daryl, what you feeling?
Nah, bro, that ain't going down, man. This is BV. He's loaded on this defensive line. Look, no disrespect. I'm just saying,
listen, keep it real, brother.
You know what I'm saying? But this is going to be a defensive war. I'm sure we'll talk about this at the end, but this is going to be a battle, man. This ain't going to be some 35-37 game. This is going to be a grind out, get what you get, blood's all over your uniform kind of game. And so I don't see either guy going for 4 touchdowns in this game, just to put it that way.
How you feeling about it, Jared?
There's a lot of OU fans that are not high on Jackson Arnold. A lot still support him. I'm one of those people that I'm rooting for him a little bit. Yeah. Not this weekend, but I hope he has success. I wasn't one of those that was jaded. But give me a nah. I'm not feeling it. I think like we talked about a little bit. I don't think there's going to be 4 touchdowns scored by either team total. So okay. I think this is going to be I think Daryl and I's predictions were kind of 24-17 or 24-20 or somewhere in there. So it's if Jackson Arnold has 4 touchdowns, this game went way differently than I think any of us anticipated to. But I do think he'll have a couple of touchdowns on the day.
Okay. All right. So we know the offensive line is a little troubled right now in terms of health. Mm-hmm. This is a good one that Joe Wick asked coming in, or Ja Wick, asked, facts or not, Auburn's defense gets 3+ sacks in this game. Jared, I'll let you start this one off. How you feeling about that?
Oh man, that's a tough one. That's a perfect number to lay it on. But I'm gonna go facts, actually. I think this is the best defensive line that Mateer is going to have faced this season. And he's been able to, like I just said earlier, he's been able to wiggle out of those before. But I don't think if those Auburn guys get a hand on him, he's going down. And I think they're gonna be in the backfield a lot. So I could see it being a 3 or 4 sack day. So I'll take the facts.
All right, Daryl, how you feeling?
Yeah, I'll say facts as well, just because I think they're going to lean on the pass game a lot. I mean, I think we took 2 sacks against Temple the other day. So I mean, and that's okay. But with the line banged up as well, I mean, between leaning on it and that, yeah, I think there'll be 3. I don't think the offense is just going to be stifled all day, but they're definitely going to make him feel some pressure back there.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to go facts on this one as well. I think what I have noticed about this Auburn defense so far is whatever they have focused the most on has been the thing that they have gone out and dominated best in. As much as Robertson was a guy that they wanted to try to keep under wraps, I don't think they went out there and said, we're not going to let Sawyer Robertson hurt us in this Baylor game. They said that we're not going to let Baylor control the line of scrimmage and run the football. Mm-hmm. I think similarly, when you look at Ball State's a different ball game, because I don't think that they thought Ball State could compete with them, and they just were like, we're just going to go out and dominate in every facet of the game. But I do think that South Alabama was a team that they went in and said, we need to focus on making sure they don't run the football, and which allowed for some of the pass game to get off a little bit more. I think in this game, they're saying to themselves, don't let John Mateer hurt you with his legs. And whatever they have to do to keep John Mateer in the pocket and then go get him when he's in there, they're going to do that, whether that's bringing extra blitzes, whether that's figuring out how to spy him properly and then going green dog on the blitz, whatever they got to do. I think that's what they're going to try to do. And I think that results in multiple sacks for Auburn. So give me the facts on that one. Let's see. JJ Brand, Mateer, I think he's what he meant to say there, throws at least 1 interception in this game. How are we feeling about that one? Daryl, kick us off on it.
I mean, yeah, I got to go facts. I mean, he's thrown 1 multiple times already this year. And some of that is, again, just still learning to get on the same page with these receivers his first year. You mentioned the tight end throw earlier against Michigan when he overthrows. Multiple people that do film reviews and stuff was one of these where Mateer believes he's supposed to be here because of the position of the safety, and he bends it in and he throws to the spot, and there it is. So I could easily see something like that going down on the day, or just him trying to force one and putting one in there. So I'll go fact.
All right, Jared.
You know what? I'm going to be the sunshine guy. I'm going to go nah.
Yeah, let's go.
I think he's going to clean up. Some of his interceptions this year have been those kind of incidental miscommunication, or, there was one to Burks, I believe that was against Illinois State, where Burks broke to the right. He should have broke left, and, Mateer threw it on a line where if he had broke left, it's right in his hands and it's a big gain. But I think he's going to clean that up. I think they're going to get on the same page. So I'm going to go off for that one.
Yeah. Listen, Auburn fans going to be mad at me, but I'm going to go nah on this one. Even though John Mateer has thrown a pick in every game so far this season, I have been noted in saying this. DJ Durkin's defenses are not interception defenses. They're just not. The way that they play is really off of pressure, and forcing fumbles is probably the more likely way. And I know they've gotten one interception, but that was off of a tipped pass that was behind them. So, like, if that happens, I just don't see it being a case where you're locking a receiver up and he throws it into a tight window type of thing and getting an interception. So I'm going to go nah on that one. I don't know that he's going to throw a pick in this game. And I know that's not going to be a popular response with people when they see this, because they're like, there's no way Mateer throws picks. I get it, but I don't think it's going to happen in this game.
Yeah.
All right. Here we got a couple of them directed at Oklahoma here. We'll rattle these off really quickly. Jonathan Boyce and facts or not, OU gets over 125 rushing yards against Auburn. I will start this one off. Over 125. Whew. This is tough for me. I'm going to be honest, because I think Mateer is that dynamic with his legs. So I'm actually going to go with facts on this. I do think that combined run yards between Mateer and these running backs, they can get to 125. So I'll go facts on this one.
Yeah, I'll take it. You know what? I'm gonna go facts. I think if we get late in the game, even if it's a one-score game, if OU has a 3-point lead in the fourth quarter, they're going to be running the ball a lot. You're going to get a heavy dose of it late in the quarters. But like you said, Mateer's shown that if you give him a little space, if they come aggressive on a blitz and he can slip through, he can easily run for 30, 40 yards in one run. So I think it's going to be right at that number, but I think they'll get it.
Okay. Daryl?
I'll go nah. I just think, again, I need to see this line be healthy before I can say that. Yeah. Now, I don't think it's going to be some 80 yards in the game kind of a thing. I think they're going to be at like 115, 120. I believe they ran for 138 or 140 against Michigan, who's got a pretty solid D-line as well. And granted, that was the first game with 4 new starters. They literally replaced basically the entire line and played them for the first time that game. So I think they'll get close, but I think they will be a little short.
Okay. All right. 2 more here before we get out of here and do a final score prediction. 9-time champion says, facts or not, Deion Burks leads the Sooners in receiving yards versus Auburn. How you feeling about that one? I'll start with you, Daryl.
Nah, not going to be him. He's going to make some big plays. He's going to do some jitterbug, but it's going to be Jaron Kanick, man. Jaron Kanick's going to find space in the middle. I think especially if y'all choose to spy, that gives you one less guy to watch that tight end. I think he's going to slip around and make some plays big in the game.
How you feeling, Jarrett?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to go I got to give Daryl a little crap. He said Deion Burks wasn't going to score a touchdown in the first game, and he did. So, but I'm still going to go nah. I think there's some other big playmakers. And I think they're going to be watching out for Burks because he has shown probably the most flash so far this season. But I think that's going to let them try to free a couple other guys up.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you guys. I'm going to go nah. Kanick's going to be the guy that I think leads them in receptions and yards in this game. Auburn has not covered the tight end particularly well so far this season. I don't know that trend breaks in this game as much as dynamic as I think Deion Burks is, and they'll do some of the speed sweet stuff with him with the pop pass and all that. I think that Auburn's going to be able to keep him under wraps. So maybe he is a guy who gets the most targets in this game, but I think that the most receptions and yards come from the tight end position. I'll go with Kanick and go nah on that one.
Oh, that's a good call. Like that. I like that, Ike.
Prentice James steps in and says, facts or not, OU gets 3 sacks on Jackson Arnold, flipping it around the other way. Jared, let's start with you on this one. How you feeling about the Oklahoma defense getting to the Auburn quarterback?
I'm going to go facts. This D-line has looked very good so far this season. And Jackson Arnold, I haven't seen enough of him this season, so this isn't any dig at him. But last year he had a little bit of that he'd get kind of happy feet, not really know where he was going, and he'd run right into somebody. I think we can see a little bit of this because I think this is going to be a very disruptive defensive line this game.
Daryl.
Facts. I mean, that's the one thing that I still see on tape. I think Jackson's taken a big step. I think Auburn's been a better situation for him than it ever was at Oklahoma last year for him, but he still just waits too long on some of these plays. You know, there's still a lot of plays where it's clear Singleton or Coleman's got a one-on-one. They're breaking out. They're breaking a ditch. Like, let the ball fly, like right now. And he's waiting until the guy's turned around, seeing him. You cannot do that. And honestly, I don't know where the state of the game's going to be, but our Mason Thomas is going to be coming in the second half with fresh legs. And that dude is a beast off the edge. And so you may not get any in the first half and still get 3 in the second half.
I can agree with everything you just said, and I am going to go facts as well. I have my questions about Auburn's ability to pass protect against guys that can win one-on-one matchups, particularly on the outside, and that's going to be my biggest question mark. If there is a question mark at all in this game, it's going to be Auburn's ability to protect the edge in this game versus those talented pass rushers for Oklahoma. And if they are getting that pressure and you still have a good push up the middle, he doesn't have a way to escape. Right. So I think that will result in multiple sacks. So give me the facts on that one. All right, let's close this out. I did a little score prediction on your game, on your pod. You all already talked a little bit about what you had on your pod. But for the folks over here in the Auburn sphere, tell me how you feel like this game is going to go. Give me your score predictions. Whoever wants to go first, let's get to it.
Get it, Jay.
Daryl hit it.
I got it first. I told you first.
We're already fighting. This is brotherly love. So I gave my score prediction as 24-17. OU comes out with the win. I think it's going to be a late touchdown. I think it's going to be an extremely tight game throughout, and I think OU is going to get a touchdown in the fourth quarter to kind of extend that lead, and the defense will be able to hold Auburn, I hope. So it's going to be close. I don't give much more than one score game though.
Gotcha. Daryl, how you feeling about it?
I think with we talked the other night and we did our pod the other night. We had not seen the injury report yet. Now that it's come out, I have gone down in my prediction to 2017 is going to be the final score. I'm giving OU the edge only because it's at home. And I know, for instance, I think Jackson, be interesting to see how he handles that. You mentioned the other day, how will his teammates handle him returning and maybe doing too much? And then you also have a Hugh Freeze who's a little bit like Venables, and he wants the exact right call, and he likes to signal it in with all the noise and with all the conversation and just him trying to do that. I think it could really slow down the offense a lot, combined with a really good defense on the other side. So I think, again, this is going to be a slugfest. I could easily see this being a 10-7 game going in at half, and then just kind of whoever hits the big kick at the end wins the game.
Yeah, no, I agree that particularly first half, I would be surprised personally if either team scores more than 2 times in the first half. Like if anybody has more than 14 points in the first half, I would be surprised in this game. And if it is, then it's probably like a busted coverage led to one. Like I just don't. I see it's going to be a grind of a game, similar to how it was with the Michigan game, where it's like. First half of the game, it looks like nobody's really moving the football. A lot of little stupid mistakes turning into drives, killers type of thing. I can definitely see that happening. But I am looking forward to every single minute of this. Again, I am making the drive over to Norman to check this game out live. So I'm looking forward to it, guys. Before we get out of here, tell the people, in case they want to keep up with what you all have going on, where can they find the information about what you all are doing for Oklahoma sports?
Yeah, I mean, for us, the best spot right now is on X, a.k.a. Twitter. We post all of our stuff there. We're on YouTube. We're on Apple Podcasts, all those kinds of things. We're not doing the website thing right now. It's usually 2 podcasts a week for us, just kind of blowing through things. It'll probably increase a little bit as Thunder season goes. That's why our podcast is called Just Okay. We do all Oklahoma sports, but we focus on the Thunder. We focus on Sooners. That's what we do. That's what we talk about. So you can find us there. Check us out. And it's at Just Okay Sport is where we're at. And then Daryl Reininger, and then J-Rod, so Jay Rodicus over there as well. And you can also catch him on Twitch, and he'll put some stuff there also.
Yep.
Nice. All right. Well, we are going to get out of here. Thank you so much for jumping in here with us. You guys know who we are. We are the War Rapport out there everywhere. That's the website that is on X, that's on Instagram. It's TW Report on TikTok. We'll be back at you guys pre-game, 30 minutes prior to the game. We are going to have our pre-game breakdown, halftime for the Green Name Gang, folks, and then our post-game reaction going down all on Saturday. But that's it. We're out of here until the next time. And as always, War Eagle.